All right, cool. All right, so the total dash for inscribed angles, the formulas you have to know is that the measure of inscribed angle is half of the measure of its intercepted arc. So this arc right here, this angle is half whatever the arc is, no matter where it is on the circle, as long as it's at the edge. So this is when you have two chords. Two chords. So this is the formula relationship. The next one is the tangent one. This one's kind of the most confusing one. It says angles formed by a tangent and a chord. The measure of an angle formed by the tangent and the chord is 1/2 the measure of its intercepted arc. So for example, this one means that angle ABD, which is this angle right here, is half of the arc BCD. So this arc here. So this arc, this angle is half whatever this arc is. So that's the relationship. So that's what it's talking about, arc BCD. Now, you know if it's an arc because it has this little squiggly line or this line on top of the variables. You know, this means angle. When it's on top, it's called an arc. Okay, so let's do a couple problems. Numbers 1, 2, and 3 says find arc BCD. So it wants us to figure out what the measure of this arc is. Right here. And we know that the angle is 67. So that means the relationship between this angle and this arc is that this arc is twice whatever that angle is. So that is 67 degrees times 2, and that would give us 134. And that's all it's asking us. So that means this is just our answer, 134 degrees, because it's asking just for the arc BCD. For the other problems, it's going to tell you to find different other measurements. For example, I think the next one's going to tell you to find what this arc is. So if you know the whole thing is 134 and this is 68, you can just take 134 and subtract it from 68, and that will give you this measurement here. Do not get confused. These are not congruent. These are not exactly the same. So do not say 68 times 2. If this is 68, this is 68. No, that is not correct. So you have to be very, very careful. Any questions? Guys, good. 34, pretty straightforward. 4 and 5 says GH is tangent to circle F at point L. Find arc LJ. So arc LJ is this arc right here. I know that the angle that's given, JLH, is 55 degrees. The relationship between the arc and the angle is that the arc is twice whatever the angle is. So that means the measure of arc LJ is twice whatever the angle is. JLH. So 55 degrees. So that means it's going to be 110 degrees. And that's my answer. So that's 4 and 5. Does anyone have any questions? So really straightforward. Okay. Number 6 says find the variables. Okay. So find the angle. So it says find the value of each variable in the circle to the right. The dot represents the center of the circle. So for this problem in particularly, you can do a couple things. First off, I'll start with angle A. Angle A is right here, and the arc of angle A is 109, right? So that means if the arc is 109, what would the angle A be? Someone tell me. How'd you get 54.5? Very good. So that's 54.5 degrees because it's half of whatever the arc is. For angle B is this arc right here. Sorry, this angle. And then the arc is this right here. Now, it doesn't tell us what the arc is, but can someone tell me what the arc angle would be and how'd you determine it? What's the arc? Jonathan,
180 degrees,
how'd you get 180?
because it's a straight line.
Okay, it is a straight line, but there's another reason.
Half a circle is 180 degrees.
Very good. It's half the circle. And how do you know it's half the circle?
Because the line is straight to the center.
Very good. So you have to be very careful. It has to go through the center in order for it to be half the circle. So, because if you just have a circle and you have a line going through this, the arc is not 180 degrees. Now the line is 180 degrees, but the arc is not 180 degrees. So you do have to be very careful. It has to go through the through the center in order for it to be 180 degrees. So then, if I know that the arc is 180 degrees, how would I find what angle B is? Split it in half. So 180 divided by 2 gives me 90 degrees. So angle B is 90 degrees. Now, there's a lot of ways to determine arc C, but what's honestly the fastest way to get that value for angle C? Sorry, angle C.
You would take angles of A and B, add them up, and then subtract that from 180 from the right side of the triangle.
Okay,
Wait, we're trying to solve for
arc C, not, yeah, arc C.
No, but we would need the angle.
You don't necessarily need the angle.
But that's one way to do it.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
So how else do we-
What's the fastest way? Lincoln, let's see if you,
You just take the total degrees of the circle 360 and then subtract our already existing angles, 180 and 180.
okay, there's actually an easier way to get arc C. There's an easier way. Now that's a good way, but there's an easier way to find for arc C.
180 minus 109.
Yeah. So remember, this is still half the circle. So let me different color. So this is still half the circle, right? So that means if I want to find for arc C, I can just take 180 and subtract it from 109. And that will give me 71 degrees. So that's honestly the fastest way. Lincoln was the second fastest way of just taking 360 and subtracted 180. The way you solve it, it's up to you how you do it, but doing 180 minus 109 is honestly the fastest way to get to the answer. So whichever way gets you the fastest, by all means, do it that way. All right, last problem, and then we're done. Says find the value of each variable. Do not, the dot represents the center of the circle, and then the lines appear tangent are tangents. Okay, so for angle A, use colored pencils, or this you don't have to. It's half whatever the arc is. The arc is 58. So that means angle A is 58 divided by 2, which is 29.
Yeah.
We'll do angle C next. Angle C is right here. It's half whatever the arc is. The arc is 86 degrees divided by 2. 30? No.
43.
43. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Now, finding arc B, angle B, it's going to be a little bit more tricky because you actually have to find, well, actually, no. No, yeah, you do. Okay, so we know this is half the circle, right? Because this is the center. That's why you want to use colored pencils because it makes it easier. It's half the circle. So that means if 58 degrees is one part of the half of the circle, so that means the other half of the circle, sorry, the other part of the circle is 180 minus 58. That gives you 180 minus 58 is 122. So that means this arc right here is 122 degrees. So from here to here. So here to here. To find angle B, the angle B, that's a chord and a tangent line is half of whatever that arc is. So that means that angle B is half whatever the arc, which is 122. So half of that is 61 degrees. So those are your three angles. So let me actually do the math. So 180 minus 58. 120. Actually, let me do it. But that's it. The assignments on Canvas. Pretty straightforward, but just know that there's a lot of ways to do some of these problems, whatever method works the best for you and how to get to the answer. There you go for it. But other than that, that's pretty much it. All right, good job, you guys.